The BlueMilk Podcast, episode 44.
Alright, here we go.
Welcome to the BlueMilk Podcast, where we talk about anything and everything Star Wars related. I'm drinking. This is Ray. Nobody else matters.
I go home? Sweet!
No, really, who are you guys?
If they don't know who we are by now, then they haven't been paying attention.
This might be their very first episode.
Name in the description down below.
Credits.
Yes.
Our names are in the credits.
Yeah.
You still won't figure out who we are because there won't be a face.
You will know that there are 3 names in the credits, and by those 3 names,
Technically
you will
4.
know our names, but they are not distinguishable between whose name belongs to who.
Let's get going. Alright.
I'm BJ,
I'm Jacob.
and we're the BlueMilk Podcast.
Are you trying to do like the Snoop Dogg?
No,
Oh, okay.
I was just doing
The
a
dance.
thing. Yeah,
Doing a thing.
yeah.
Get down and out. Get down and out.
Do a little dance, make a little love.
Get down and out. Woo-hoo.
Hi. How's it going?
So, Ray's a returning guest.
Hey, Ray. How's it going?
Thank you.
Yeah. Club friendship.
Apparently, we did not scare him away the first few times. He's
As
been
hard as we tried.
We're gonna try harder this time.
off to a good start.
I hope.
We also have Squeak.
Also, a returning guest.
Yeah. We don't have a choice.
He just wants love and attention.
Don't we all?
Some of us.
Alright, what are we talking about?
I don't know.
Anything and everything Star Wars related.
Then get to
We are literally talking about everything about Star Wars. This is going to be a 5-hour episode.
Great. We just lost
About
10 viewers.
Star Wars? So we're going to do a scene-by-scene play of every single scene in one of the movies.
In one take.
Oh, God.
This is going to get rough. So
Alright.
hard. They're so hard.
So, some news came out, it was like a few weeks ago or so, about the cast of Episode 9.
Yes.
So my question really isn't about the cast or anything like that.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Exactly. What do you think the title Episode 9 is going to be? Maybe a little too early or anything like that, but we can always just try to guess. And if we're right, we're right. And if we're wrong, well...
Return of the fandom.
J.J. Abrams strikes it back.
A back?
A back.
Is a back?
A back.
Who's back?
It's a back.
Fan?
They've been remaking pretty much all the movies in the new movies, so I mean, they might as well just call it Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I think so.
'Cause
In parentheses, again.
again,
Dot.
Yeah.
Leaving the ... so they can remake it again
or
later
how about
on.
this? Just the Jedi Return. How about that? They'll just swap it.
Yeah,
The
there
Jedi
we go.
Return.
That's
Now
that's actually a possibility. That is a possibility.
They're gonna get so much hate if they do that, though.
They're gonna get hate no matter what they do.
True, but
They brought it upon themselves by now.
because they bought Star Wars, so
Yeah, they bought the hate.
literally, once they bought Star Wars, they started getting hate, and it
Yeah.
just hasn't.
Well, they inherited all the hate from all the people that were angry with George Lucas.
And now everyone loves George Lucas.
no.
Not everyone. A lot of people still appreciate George
A
Lucas
lot of
because
people are
he's.
saying
Alright, to be honest, like, none of us hate George Lucas.
No. He created Star Wars.
I don't hate him. No.
Yeah, I just don't like what he did with the prequels.
I think he could have gone a different route, yes.
A much better route.
Yes.
Much better.
But, after what Disney has done, aside from Rogue One, because Rogue One was awesome.
Force Awakens was good.
But Force Awakens was good. All the movies have been good, but we've talked about that already.
Yeah.
What I was saying is, before Disney bought it, what Lucas did with the prequels was it brought a lot of unhappiness out of me. When Disney bought up and fucked with everything else, that unhappiness that Lucas brought didn't seem so bad anymore.
It's like the bigger of two evils.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the lesser.
Well, the Disney one's
Lucas
the bigger.
is now the lesser.
Yeah, and Disney is the bigger.
Yeah. Anyway, your
So titles for episode 9.
titles.
Yeah, the title is
I
going to
think
be
Rey wins. I think the Jedi return.
the Jedi's Return.
The Jedi's return.
Well, it wouldn't be
That
Jedi's
movie.
because Jedi is plural
So there's only
and
going to be
also
one.
singular. So
The Jedis.
the Jedi's. There we go. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Bring-
Then it could be the return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. There we go.
You guys fucked up. We were right. We'll kill you all.
Yes.
I like that. It's not bad.
I like it. I don't have one, to be honest. I don't know where it's going to go or anything like that.
J.J. Abrams strikes again.
Well, I mean, he already is striking again because they started production and all that stuff. So
Yeah, he's
him
striking
making
again.
episode 9 is striking again.
Okay.
But
In that theme, if we're done with titles,
yeah, I think so.
because I think yours wins.
Yeah.
They're talking about bringing Leia back for episode 9 using footage, unused footage from episode 7,
Yeah.
without using any CG, supposedly. I
On
seriously doubt they're going to be able to
No
get
CG
away
on
without
her.
CG
Yeah.
some shit with her. But we'll see. What do you guys think of that? Is there a point?
They should just leave her dead.
Well, she's not dead in episode 8, so if we just
They
say...
just kill her off screen.
And a lot of people are going to be insulted, like, no, we don't need to see her die or anything, but we need...
Apparently they do.
I was insulted with the Mary Poppins thing. That was insulting.
Yeah, having her have, like, force powers
But
out of nowhere.
Without explaining it.
Well, we already knew she...
I understood the back.
Literally, in...
No, she
Return
has
of the Jedi.
never.
Return of the Jedi. In Return of the Jedi, Yoda says there, or no, not
Luke.
not in the Return of the Jedi.
Luke actually mentions the fact that the Force is strong with his family,
Yes.
and the fact that she hasn't.
Yes.
Well, it's not only Luke that says that. In Empire Strikes Back, when Luke leaves the swamp from Dagobah, Yoda says there is another, and he was referencing Leia.
Yeah, and in Return of the Jedi, he says that there is another Skywalker.
Yeah.
We know that.
But the thing is she's never exhibited any capabilities to harness.
Other than the telepathy between her and I almost said Mark Hamill. Between her and Luke.
Yeah.
Between her and
But
Luke.
that's also not explained. I mean, I guess you could write that off as like maybe a force connection between them.
That would be a force. I assume that to be a force
And
connection.
I mean, that makes sense because they're twins.
Yes.
So
There's
it
also
would
that.
make
There's
perfect
also
sense
that.
for them to have.
But it could have been written off as just Luke inherently having a connection to Leia, because we know Luke can use the Force by that point.
Yes.
He's already started to be trained by that point.
Yes.
So honestly, that whole thing where like Leia's like, oh, I know Luke's out there, or I can feel him, or whatever. That could literally just be Luke having a connection, because
No, because she would have to be receptive to it to realize that was him.
the thing is it could have been established that those two already have a connection, and it could have been established because like Rey and Kylo have a connection, but it wasn't established by either one. That was through Snoke.
Yeah.
But the thing is they still knew they had a connection.
The whole Rey and Kylo thing.
Yeah, no, it's not those two romantically is not a good thing.
No,
like that needs to not happen.
Well,
but
Luke and Leia romantically isn't a good thing either.
that's way better than Kylo and Rey. Way better.
It's more attractive to us.
It's more attractive to everyone. Like, honestly, I don't think anyone wants Rey to hook up with Kylo. Everyone wants Rey to hook up
not true.
with
There
Finn.
is so many people that want Rey and Kylo.
There are more people that want Finn and Rey.
That makes more sense,
I'd
though.
rather see Rey and Rose.
Yeah, she's coming back.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
apparently, so is Luke. I'm hoping it's Force Ghost form.
Wait, Luke's coming back?
yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
It's probably going to be something like Force Awakens, where he's only in it for that long.
And has no dialogue whatsoever.
Yeah, he just stares at the camera or some shit.
He stares intently.
The funny part would be, it'd be funny.
Maybe he lights a tree on fire.
I was thinking,
No, Yoda only.
Answer
Yoda's the only one.
The
that-
lightsaber
Oh,
this
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
Seriously, Squeak.
But are you making your rounds right now?
It sure looks that way.
So yeah, well, one of the things that I noticed is that Gwendolyn Christie isn't in the cast.
Wait.
Yes, she is.
Phasma?
Phasma is
Yes,
not.
she is.
No, she isn't.
She isn't in the
She
cast
isn't
list?
in episode 9.
What?
Yeah.
They
I
they
thought for
legit
sure-
killed Phasma.
I thought for sure that her name was listed.
Mm-mm.
What a shitty thing to do. She went out like a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The deleted scene with Finn and Phasma was a lot better than what it was
Yeah.
Yes.
in the actual movie.
Yes.
But yeah, it sucks. Because I really wanted Phasma to actually be
Oh,
something.
I was hoping she would legitimately be the Kenny of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Like, they kill her every episode.
This has come back every episode.
That's what
Phasma! You bastards!
And then she comes back next episode like nothing happened. Like, how the fuck did you get out? I don't know.
The Force.
Yeah.
Oh, she's actually...
Mary Poppins, that shit!
Yeah, she just like flew through space. No air, no rebreather or anything. No air mask, no nothing.
But yeah, she's not in it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Cast plan. So far.
So far.
So far.
Maybe it'll be a surprise.
Maybe. It would be nice.
But yeah, Billy D. Williams is in it. He's gonna be Lando. We got Lando.
So Lando's legit
Lando
coming
is
back.
legit coming back in episode 9.
Well, that's because of how popular Donald Glover was as Lando in the Solo
I
movie.
mean, I don't think that. I think
No, that's
Lando's
exactly
a good
why.
character.
No, that's exactly why.
No, I think it's because people wanted the real Lando
But
back.
we want the real Lando.
No, a lot of people actually really like Donald Glover as Lando.
No, I
In
like
Solo,
him,
they
but-
really liked him. In fact, a lot of people said that he was better being Lando than the guy that played Han.
Okay, I thought you were
agree
gonna
with
say.
that.
I thought you were gonna say something like better than Billy D. Williams playing Lando.
No,
Like,
no.
That's bullshit. He
No, no,
created
no.
the character.
I
is
will
okay.
agree with that. He did play Lando better than
True.
Han played
Yeah.
Han.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And it's because of all of that they're like, alright, so people want Lando, let's just put him in 9. Because honestly, if they were gonna put fucking Lando in any of them, they should have done it in 7.
I didn't think Billy D. Williams was still alive.
To be fair, that is accurate.
He's got to be, what,
70s.
60-something? Late 60s.
Early
James
70s.
Earl Jones is still alive, isn't he?
Yeah.
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 He's
he
old.
is.
He's just as old, if not older.
So, yeah.
I think he's a little bit older, but I think Lando or Billy D. Williams was the same age around as Han.
Well,
Harrison Ford.
you guys know I'll throw up a
We'll throw a thing.
age.
Yeah.
We'll throw a thing.
We'll throw a thing up there.
Raw!
But regardless, yeah.
Thing.
Because Donald Glover was so good, because everyone loved Donald Glover as Lando, and they really liked that, so they're bringing Lando back for 9. Which seems really fucking pointless.
I hope he can still pull it off.
If they were gonna bring back Lando, I don't know why they didn't just bring him back in 7 or 8.
Well,
He's the
what would
Han
be the
substitute.
point, though?
Because Han is dead, they're bringing Lando.
Han died in 7. They could have brought him back in 8.
They could have, but what would have been the point? Why
Because they didn't know. They weren't going to take the risk.
Well, and it would have
They
been
weren't
better.
going to take the risk.
No, especially because they're losing Carrie Fisher as Leia. they now
Apparently
want-
not. They're bringing her back as well.
She's going to be like maybe in there for like.
It's
It
gonna
has to be
big.
small.
It's just gonna be. A
We
bit
don't
part.
know.
I'm sure it'll be a bit part.
Yeah, well, mainly because, I mean, unless it really meshed with whatever story they had for 9, they have to work with whatever they had filmed.
Yeah.
So it's, I doubt very much that it's going to be a very long scene with Leia. It's probably going to be some way to transition from her being there to dying. But without any other main characters, with the exception of Chewbacca.
We have Chewbacca, C-3PO, R2-D2. Apparently they're bringing Force Spirit Luke back.
True, but I'm talking for, say, story-wise for the Rebellion. Lando was actually a general in the Rebellion.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they actually bring him back in.
Because all of their lead people are dead because of what happened.
Yeah, but they
with
never
that ship.
had...
What about Mon Mothma? She's still around.
She cut ties. They talk about that in 7.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, did she?
Leia, that's why Leia's still technically like part of a...
Well, that doesn't mean she.
Yeah, because I think Mon Mothma went with like the Republic part.
Well, no, Mon Mothma is the head of that. She's the reason they went that way. Mon Mothma is the person that divided the military aspect of the rebellion with the political aspect, because Leia was in charge of the military aspect, and Mon Mothma was like, okay, well, we can't be affiliated with you anymore because now we're trying to be a legitimate government instead of, terrorists, which is what they were.
Yeah.
Well,
And which is why they're still labeled as terrorists in 7.
No, they're resistance. They're more...
No, they are.
They're not affiliated with episodes. They're not...
depends on your point of view.
Yeah.
They're still terrorists. They're not endorsed by the Rebellion or the Republic, the New Republic. They're not endorsed by them.
But the First Order isn't either, so it's like a terrorist
The
versus
First
terrorist.
Order, no, the First Order is a legitimate government faction. That's stated in the books.
They
The
have-
First Order rules a section of space as a legitimate government, and the New Republic rules the rest. That was the Empire.
But the thing is that the Resistance isn't bombing shit or anything like that.
They are.
No.
Yeah, they are.
They're going to get... They're protecting the Republic from the First Order.
But they don't see it that... The First Order and the Republic don't see it that way.
The Republic totally sees it that way. That's why they don't interfere.
Really? When do you see any kind of thing involving the New Republic, political-wise, when do you see them at any point state that the New Order is doing anything bad?
But do you see the Republic stating anything about the Resistance, saying that they're terrorists?
Yeah.
In Episode
That's
7.
literally what Leia says.
Round 2. Fight!
That's literally what Leia says. The reason why she doesn't have any funding from the New Republic is because they consider them terrorists.
Don't think they say that. I'm pretty sure you're paraphrasing.
Okay, but still, she has no endorsement from the New Republic because they separated them, and they are considered just as much like a non-affiliated military faction that is not endorsed by the government.
But you even... Okay, so...
So what else would you call that?
They're... There is a deleted scene, a few deleted scenes from The Force Awakens, and they explain it in the books and everything, of the adaptation, that the Resistance send a person to the Republic to get support.
And they don't support them.
No, because the fucking planet just gets destroyed! That's why!
Yeah, but I'm talking about before that. Why didn't the Resistance have any support from the New Republic prior to that?
Because the Republic doesn't even have a military! They don't.
Then why wouldn't they want the Resistance as their military?
They don't want a military because they're trying to be peaceful.
Well, then how are they supposed to defend themselves against the New Order?
Exactly why the fucking First Order takes over that fucking quickly.
Oh, okay. It's not the fact that they just blow up the planet.
Well, I mean, they blew up the planet, but they didn't have any defenses or anything like that.
Oh, they didn't?
No.
Why didn't they just use the Resistance?
Because they're fucking retarded.
Okay.
To be honest.
I'm just saying. The Resistance isn't a supportive fact. Like
they're not supportive, but they're not terrorists.
They are.
Whatever.
Finish him.
He can't call it anything other than what it is. I asked him legitimately. I was like, What would you call it?
We heard.
Yeah. He can't answer that question. But he refuses to call Leia Organa and the Resistance a bunch of terrorists.
Don't get me wrong. The rebellion is technically, like in the Empire Age, that is completely terrorists.
Technically.
But because the First Order does not have control of, like, the Resistance is not going after the First Order. They are protecting. They're not going after it. They're not bombing fucking marketplaces of the First Order or anything like that. They're protecting the Republic. They are a shield.
I don't know. The Resistance kind of going after the one big Star Killer base. That's in First Order space. That's not in Republic space.
Yeah, but that's after the freaking fucking planet destroyer fucking blows up the Republic.
They still invaded First Order space.
Because there's no other government to do anything.
No, the Republic still exists.
No, it's fucking destroyed.
No, the capital was destroyed. So you're saying that if Washington D.C. was blown up, the America, United States of America, would no longer be the United States of America?
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Yes.
There are enough.
Symbolism. You destroy the symbolism. You disrupt the day-to-day lives.
I don't know how many capitals have been blown up, and yet still countries exist.
The countries, yes, but the way they exist,
the government.
There is enough contingency in place that we would still have leadership.
Ray, you want to get in on this before I do? I suggest you should.
Look at Independence Day. They blew up the White House, and then look what happened in the next movie.
There was still a United States of America?
Yeah, but it was completely different.
Not really.
It was. They actually unified the planet.
Well, that's because aliens were involved, but yes.
Aliens are involved.
There's aliens in Star Wars.
Sure. But it's a little different blowing up an entire planet and blowing up a city. But regardless, yeah.
Okay. Planet-wise. We're using country-wise.
Yeah.
Planet-wise. Coruscant is the seat of
the old Republic
power.
Oh, and the Empire.
So if Coruscant was blown up, what do you think would happen to the system governments?
I mean,
they would probably get disrupted for a little while, and then they would send new representation to a new place.
Go ahead.
Okay, so which canon are we using?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, so if we look at EU canon, the Galaxy
Union.
Yes, European Union.
The expanded
universe canon. That's Legends canon. There we go. Sorry.
There you go.
Non-Disney canon.
Yeah. The territories of the galaxy. Well, the galaxy got split up into territories because the Grand Moffs took over I keep saying Tarkin. They took over territories.
The Grand Moffs took over the Tarkin.
The Empire got split up into territories because so many people were trying to power grab. Because the seat, the Emperor and Darth Vader both were destroyed. And it wasn't until Thrawn, like a few years later, came back. That's when the Empire almost came back as one. They didn't control any. Like, he wasn't like controlling any space, but his main focus was to.
That's the Empire, and the Empire is a slightly different government type than a republic. There's one unifying figure behind an empire. That's why when Nazi Germany, when Hitler got defeated, the Nazis were done because there was one person. But a republic is a group of people ruling over an entire area.
Although, to be honest, usually there is one strong unifying figure that brings those people together.
The Chancellor.
That's not always true.
And they had...
usually.
Okay.
They did have a Prime Minister, Chancellor dude. We'll throw up his name up on there on Hazian Prime, yeah. There was a head dude.
In what?
In the New Republic.
In the New Republic? In 7, 8,
yeah.
9?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, they had this. They had the same thing in the prequels, because this is a Supreme Chancellor of the Law.
Yeah.
And all of that,
and,
even though it was a republic.
Yeah.
But the thing is not all political representatives are at that one location.
But the thing is that if they're a representative of one planet, what does that make them? How are they going to claim power? Because it looks like it's going to be more power grabs because they're going to have multiple systems. You're like, I need to be Chancellor right now. No, it's going to be the exact same thing as like the Empire did.
Creates
power grab.
It does create a vacuum, and that's why I said it'd definitely be disruptive. But the thing is you can't dispute the fact that a republic is made up of representatives from all the planets, and those representatives can easily be rechosen, and that doesn't guarantee that all of the representatives will be killed by blowing up that one planet. Because they're not always going to be
as easy as that.
I understand that, but I'm just simply stating that not all the representatives are going to be on that planet at that one moment when it gets blown up. Everyone that's involved in the governments of the Republic, one planet cannot hold all of them. It can hold a location where a lot of them can meet, but it is not going to destroy the Republic.
It still creates a power grab. It still creates a vacuum.
I understand that.
In that vacuum, those who are left over, it's pretty much guaranteed that there's going to be a handful that all think that they need to be in charge of everything.
I understand that. I'm not disputing that. I'm just simply stating that they can rebuild the Republic a lot faster. I mean, simply look how quickly they transitioned between an empire, from a republic to an empire, then from an empire back to a republic.
How many years was that in the making?
Oh, wow.
Well, the empire? The empire, it seemed to happen overnight.
But how many years was it in the making?
Yeah,
well,
the actual transition happened overnight.
You can't.
It had been building.
You can't
and manipulated for years and years.
That's true, but that's irrelevant.
No,
the build up to it is irrelevant.
The vacuum would create the same thing. There would be years and years of.
But that's not a build up. The vacuum is immediate.
Vacuum, yes.
As soon as the planet.
But the thing is that the main figurehead stayed the same. So it wouldn't create a vacuum because there's no vacuum between the Republic because it was still Palpatine to the Emperor because he was still Palpatine.
Again, I'm using the Coruscant analogy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Palpatine to Palpatine, there's no vacuum. He got more power.
But if Coruscant is destroyed,
yeah,
and the majority of senators and figureheads and all that were on Coruscant when that gets destroyed, and there's only a handful left.
Yeah,
there's still a vacuum, even though there's a few left.
None of us are disputing that.
Yeah.
None of us are disputing that.
I don't know where the hell we were going with that.
Talking about the Resistance as terrorists. Once the First Order...
Okay, so when that vacuum is created, it depends on your point of view. Terrorism is not a thing. It's all based on point of view.
Well, terrorism is simply an ideology.
Depends on which side you're on.
Yeah. It's an ideology depending on which side. Clearly the Resistance doesn't go around bombing stuff in the Republic, so they're not a terrorist.
Not at all.
It's true. Although, to be fair, we do see several operatives kill a lot of other, decent citizens.
Look what happened with Scarab.
Well, that's rebellion. No. I don't,
But, still, that would be considered a terrorist act.
I'm not...
Depending on which side you're on.
To be fair, the Empire is a legitimate government.
Yeah. And I'm saying, I'm not arguing that the rebellion is terrorist.
See, you just don't want to say in Episode 7, Leia's Resistance at that point is a terrorist organization because she doesn't terrorize the Republic. She just terrorizes the New Order, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because it's based on point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I don't like them, so them hurting them is completely fine.
Yeah.
But the thing is what if they actually did, kill Republic citizens?
Then they'd be a terrorist.
But you don't know if they did or didn't.
No.
So as long as the propaganda is proper, then
I mean, if you call episode 7 and 8 propaganda, then yeah.
it could be. It could very well be. I mean, you brought up the propaganda thing
Yesterday when we were editing, yeah.
So, yeah, that's a valid thing. There's lots of propaganda.
We have two different points of view. You see the resistance to terrorism.
I don't see that as a bad thing.
They could be.
I don't understand why you think terrorism is a bad word.
Is it?
It isn't.
I'm a child of 9/11, so it is a bad word.
Dude, I was fucking in college when I was at 9/11. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Ray.
They could actually be killing people who they feel are Imperial sympathizers. They don't show it, but they could be doing it.
Yeah.
There you go.
And those would be Republic citizens.
Not really Imperial sympathizers, but First Order sympathizers.
First Order is the funny thing is that the First Order is the remnants of the Empire, and I don't know why, but I do not like the First Order. I just can't get behind their thing. I think like they're more.
I'm not a fan of them either.
I'm not a fan of them.
It's because they're not unified behind Palpatine.
Yeah, I think so.
And they don't have Darth Vader.
Yeah.
They have Snoke and Kylo.
And Snoke died, and Kylo is a bitch.
I see the First Order itself seems more unified than the Empire did.
Well, it's a lot smaller than the Empire.
There's that.
I mean, they don't control anywhere near as much space as the Empire did in its heyday.
There is that.
But they are a lot more unified. But then they also have fucking angry McPherson that is like...
Hux? Yeah.
Yeah, Hux.
Shit.
He's always just so fucking angry.
Ultra Nazi.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Like, honestly, like, Tarkin was a much better, like, bad guy.
He was a good bad guy.
Like, Tarkin, like, Grand Moff Tarkin was a lot better at being the sinister bad guy than, like, angry McPherson Hux. That, like, he's always just yelling, and it almost seems as if he's just whining half the time about not having enough power to do what he feels is necessary.
Redheaded stepchild Hux.
Yeah, it just seems like...
Well, not even the rebellion takes them seriously. I mean, that's how they were able to...
That's the beginning of episode 8.
Yeah. I'll hold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was holding for Hux. Yeah, I'll still hold. Nobody actually takes him seriously.
He doesn't even seem to have a sound logic. Like, he doesn't even have sound naval strategy in mind. Like, honestly, when they hopped out, they should have just started bombarding shit and shooting shit and unload all the fucking ties. Like, this is it. This is the last of the rebellion. Why are you holding back?
Because he wants to play like that the cat and mouse game.
And that's stupid.
It is.
Clearly.
Just destroy them.
That's why I like when Snoke appears.
And you just smash.
Yeah, just like lays him down on the floor and is
and
like,
the same thing with Kylo does the
happened?
exact same thing. It's like, I told you to shoot, just freaking shoot him and you just smash him against.
Yeah, like, so, I mean, Hux being like the to be fair, Hux is the primary First Order, like, the highest ranking First Order person we see.
Yeah.
Like, because otherwise Snoke, he uses the Force, Kylo uses the Force, so we more see those as, like, Sith. Or dark Force users or something. And it's the same thing with, like, Palpatine and Vader. Like, Palpatine and Vader, yeah, they ruled the Empire, but the thing is we saw them more as, like, Sith. That were essentially pulling the strings of the Empire and doing that. So, it's Hux being the primary representative of the First Order that we get any kind of interaction with, really, his representation is not endearing to the First Order as, like, say, Grand Moff Tarkin. Like, when Grand Moff Tarkin, when you see him for the first time in Episode 4, like, he is, like, he's proper, he speaks clearly, he's concise, and he's super fucking menacing, and he's not afraid to be like, well, I'm gonna do this. And they're like, don't do that. And he's like, why shouldn't I do it? And they're like, this is why. And he's like, well, I'm gonna do it anyway because I said I'm gonna do it. Like, he follows through and does it, and he has the power and the knowledge and the backing and the pedigree to fucking do it.
Yeah.
And that's why I guess we kind of have, like, this more endearing kind of, like, perspective on the Empire, is because the first person you see with any kind of, like, high ranking, but, like, the primary representative is Tarkin. when you think of like the Empire,
Well,
the Imperial Navy.
Even when you look at New Hope, when Tarkin and Vader like walk into and they're like yelling at each other about this is the power of the heroes and all. Well, that's not the line that was afterward. But anyways, they're like yelling that this is like the best battle station and everything like that. He literally shuts everyone up once he comes in. Like his presence just dictates. Like even in the theater, you want to like sit straight when he walks in. It's like I don't want to upset him at all. Yeah.
He is a much more proper, polished character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Than what they show for the First Order.
Yeah,
the First Order seems like a bunch of angry teenagers as opposed to like the Empire, which seems like a legitimate like
adult
Yeah,
who knows
like,
what the fuck they're doing.
So think of it as like your dad is like your stepdad's the captain, and you're the angry you're like the punk step kid from like your mom married him. You don't care about him or anything like that. The First Order is that step.
The redheaded stepchild.
That
and like
punk music.
So there's the mom, and then there's the legitimate biological son of the mom, and then she remarried, and that's Tarkin. So Tarkin's the stepdad, and Hux is the stepchild, and Hux just really wants to be like him, but he hates him so much because he's just so much better.
Yeah.
I'm almost thinking it's, with the Empire falling, a lot of the true polished leaders that they had that were trained that well are probably dead.
Yeah.
So what they were left with was the leadership that was coming up, but hadn't like really truly fully trained.
Well, Hux actually has a lineage. Like Hux's dad was a legitimate like Moff or like a Grand Admiral.
Moff, but he was up there.
He was
either like a Grand Admiral or like a really high-ranking admiral or something along those lines within the actual Empire.
True. I'm just saying that a lot of the people that you would have seen in the Empire that were fully trained, that were like Tarkin, are probably dead by the time the Empire falls.
Well, a lot of them were
killed on the Death Star, or retiring, because
or the second Death Star.
We're talking quite a ways in by the time they get to
30 years, yeah.
30 years, and you're looking at the next generation coming up who just weren't trained as well because they didn't have the backing that was the Empire training them like they used to.
I mean, that kind of all explains episode 7 and 8, because look at Rey. She doesn't have the training. She just swing her lightsaber around everywhere.
Well, not until 8.
Until 8, but like 8...
All of 7 is she's just swinging her stick.
Because she doesn't have the proper training. This entire generation, it like seems like it's like trying to like, hey, we don't have the proper training, but we're going to do it the best we can. Yes.
Well,
we're going to fuck up a lot too.
To go with the Hux thing and his father, the reason why I think he was put in charge is because of his heritage.
Yeah.
Like, even though he doesn't have the proper training, I think the reason they put him in charge is because his dad was. Mm-hmm. So, like, your dad was this guy, so you must be okay.
Well, that kind of makes sense, but for that frame of mind. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing on the First Order. They didn't have the military training that they used to for the Empire since the Empire fell. So they're kind of just making do with what they have and playing it by ear. I mean, they're trying to do what they can, but it's just not as spit and polish as what the Empire had.
They are pretty fucking rank and file, though. I mean, like, when he does the Nazi speech on Starkiller Base...
That's pretty good.
Like, they're... Well, I mean, he's...
And that was a good speech.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's way too angry about it. I think, like, Tarkin would have delivered it, and it would have felt way better. Like, Hux still
Tarkin
feels like he's, like,
Yeah.
yelling. Like, he's just angry and fierce and everything like that. I'm like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of fucking passion behind it, but...
Well,
it seems a little unnecessary in the grand scheme of things.
That, again, shows a lack of experience.
Yeah, he doesn't...
I mean, Tarkin had obviously been in the military and everything for quite a while.
Yeah, he was in the Republic. He was in the Republican Army during the Clone Wars and everything, so he had a lot of experience.
Yeah, so now, again, you have a younger officer who doesn't have the experience. I mean, they all obviously have training.
Yeah.
It's just not to the same degree.
Yeah.
So, and that's what you're seeing between the two. You're saying, well, they looked better. Well, they looked better because they had the experience behind it.
Yeah. Resistance is still a bunch of terrorists.
From your point of view, sure.
No, they legitimately are. It's not a bad word. I don't know why you think it's so terrible. Just because, it's not a bad word. Just because America labels a bunch of other people in different countries terrorists doesn't necessarily make them evil.
They label us terrorists.
Yeah. There's a lot of other countries that label America as terrorists.
Which, I can see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, then Leia's absolutely can be a terrorist.
The difference between a freedom fighter and a terrorist is your own point of view.
Yep.
But they're not a freedom fighter.
Yeah,
The Resistance isn't a freedom fighter by 7. And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They're not fighting for freedom at all.
Well,
they're literally trying to defeat. They're still trying to defeat
in their minds,
the Empire.
They might actually think of themselves that way. Just because they are trying to get freedom from the First Order.
No. By that point, they legitimately know. They're specifically attacking the First Order because they exist. That's literally the reason why they are, fighting them. Is simply because they exist. They shouldn't exist. We don't like them because they're the Empire. To them, to Leia and all the people in the Resistance, the First Order is still the Empire. And that fight is still going on.
Okay, well...
But they clearly know they're not fighting for freedom from them because the Republic still exists and it's flourished. The vast majority of the galaxy at this point is the Republic. The First Order only controls maybe a handful of systems. In, the corner, on the fringe.
No, they might consider the First Order terrorists.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
But that's why they're able to justify fighting them. They're terrorists. We're not terrorists. They're terrorists.
So basically, they're both calling each other terrorists. And they just
it's like that Spider-Man meme where they keep pointing at each other. It's like, you're a terrorist, no, you're a terrorist, that type of thing.
The Resistance in 8 are kind of freedom fighters, because they are trying to get free of what's coming after
To
them.
be fair, they're not even much of freedom fighters, because in 8 they're pretty much just running
away.
They're surviving. They're trying to be survivors.
Literally, the whole movie is them on one ship just running.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what the whole movie is. They're not really freedom fighting anything.
Except for Jurassic Park turning around and...
Yeah, and then she decides to just... Which is by far the coolest part of that movie.
Oh, hell yes.
The coolest part of that, because it goes quiet.
Yeah.
This actually feels like what it's like to be in space. There's no sound. It's just... That's awesome.
Yeah. And you could hear that in the theater, too.
Everyone just shuts up.
There's usually one person that says, shit!
Yeah, that was after the fact, though. As it was happening, it was...
And then it sits there for a little while and then starts blowing up, and then someone's just like, shit.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Which would have been great if we heard, damn!
That bitch don't fuck that shit up!
The other thing useful she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's in charge literally just for running. That's it.
Yeah.
She bought them time, she destroyed the ship. Cool.
She had one job, and she did it well.
She did it fucking good.
She did it really well, actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
She allowed enough time for Rose and Finn to get together and...
and Rey to get trained. And Rey to get trained.
Yeah.
She caught some fish, pissed off a bunch of keepers? Housekeepers?
Caretakers.
Yeah.
And was able to let some weird space horses get free.
Yeah, that was Rose.
That helped too, yeah.
Oh, and invigorate the next generation of Resistance fighters.
Yeah.
Because those little kids.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the
The broom.
Peter Pan dude.
Yeah, the little Peter Pan dude with the broom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who now has the secret decoder ring.
Yes, he does have a secret decoder ring for the Resistance.
Did we actually stay on topic for anything so far?
Yeah, we talked about the title, and then we just talked about
The fact that the Resistance is terrorists.
Yeah, that went on for
from your
half an
point
hour.
of view. Yes,
They
I
are.
think that Rose actually found that ring in a cereal box. Rebel
yes.
cereal. And
Yes.
she found it in there. Oh,
Yes.
cool.
No, it's Admiral Akbar's. What are they called?
Akbar's cereal.
What is it called? It's Admiral Akbar's like fishos or something like that.
I'll throw it up.
Because it's got like real salmon bits in it.
Oh yeah.
We're done.
Are we done?
We're done.
I think so.
Thank you for watching the BlueMilk Podcast. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, comment,
Share. Follow. Hashtag thumbs down.
Hashtag thumbs down. Is that our new hashtag now?
I don't know. Have you set it up?
No.
We can make a new hashtag.
Hashtag thumbs down.
BMP thumbs down. There we go.
I'm
Hashtag
glad you didn't
BMP
just go
thumbs
with BM thumbs down, because...
Well, I mean, that's accurate.
Well,
you
that's
really
true.
need
Yeah,
to-
you do want to... But
You want it going down.
you like to be...
Regular?
Not fluid. Regular, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be fluid.
Hashtag BMP thumbs down. That's our official hashtag for everything.
Okay.
That's news to Dirk.
Yeah, good to know.
I just decided. I don't know.
Okay.
He's being executive.
Ow.
And dumb.
Just like Hux.
Yeah.
Just not as angry.
Not yet.
Not always.
No.
That's my secret, Dirk. I'm always angry.
Bye.